Good morning and welcome on this Friday morning. As I am filming this, it's a little earlier in the morning than we would usually be live, so still not quite up to full light yet, but it's lovely to have you with me on this Friday morning. Do pop on and say hello, do ask any questions, do share and like. It is always lovely to have you joining us for these crafty times. And introduce myself. My name, as I say, is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK. And if I just bring up, this is my website where you will find all things Love-a-Duckie. So whether you're looking for inspiration, whether you're looking for classes, whether you're looking to shop retired items, downloads, all of those sorts of things you can find over on my website at www.loveaduckie.co.uk, and it would be lovely to have you join us. And if you're looking for me anywhere on social media, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, do look out for Love-a-Duckie, and that is where you will find me. And before we start our crafting this morning, just a reminder that we're now into February, but celebration continues. So whether you're shopping with me, whether you're hosting an event that has a qualifying order attached to it, or whether you are thinking of joining the family, there is so much more that you can get during February when you do any of those things. So free items from the celebration catalogue with any order over £45. There is also some additional items being offered, so do look out for those. So it's not just the things that are in the catalogue now, there are additional items from the other main catalogues that are now available as a free item as well when you shop. Yeah, so you can get a free additional stamp set on top of your host rewards with a qualifying order. And there are those three options if you join. You can have the £125 join offer where you get a mini cut and emboss machine. Either the blue one, option one is a blue mini boho blue one, option two is a white one, or you can have option three, which is not to have a machine, to spend £99. And with all of those offers, you get to choose £170 worth of goodies from any current catalogues. So if you go for the £125 option, you are paying £26 for a mini machine, which is a bargain in anybody's book. So do check all those out. But we are going to have a slightly shorter session today because I have got classes today, classes tomorrow, lots going on, but I still wanted to come in and share a bit of crafting with you. And we're going to be looking at a masking technique today. One of the things that is in my mind at the moment is projects using masking, and that is what we're going to be doing this morning. So let me bring in my downward facing camera. Have got lights and things on, so I hope that they will be sufficient. As I say, the sun's not quite completely up yet, and you'll see that on my desk in front of me I have got the Apple Harvest stamp set, and this obviously hasn't been out very much since harvest time last year, but it is. Apples aren't just for harvest, apples are for all sorts of occasions, and I thought that it would be really rather nice to use this apple set to do a little bit of masking with. So let me bring in, I've got here, grabbed myself some cardstock. I've got a piece of shimmery white cardstock here that measures 13.9 by 9.5. If you are playing with imperial measurements and you have letter size cardstock, then that will be 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So that's our piece of shimmery cardstock, and I'm going to use just this single apple stamp. I've not actually put the sticker on the back of my single apple stamp yet. Let's put that right now. I've used the stamp, I know, I just obviously used it in a hurry and didn't put the sticker on it. So these nice outline stamps like this are fabulous for all of your colouring techniques, whether you're going to use stamping blends or watercolour pencils, or however you're going to add some colour. There's a bit of a hint in what sort of colouring I'm going to do today, because I have used shimmery white cardstock. And of course, shimmery white cardstock is the cardstock that we have. It not only gives you a bit of a shimmer, I don't know whether we can pick up the shimmer anywhere in any of these lights I've got around, possibly not, but there is a little bit of shimmer to it, but not only that, it also handles quite a bit of water. So whereas normal cardstock will the surface will start to break up, it will start to peel quite easily, and shimmery white cardstock behaves much better with water. So that is what we're going to use. So I'm going to ink up this apple. Of course, we also have watercolour, our Fluid 100 watercolour card that obviously handles very well with water. I'm going to stamp an apple in the middle of this piece of card, and I have used Stays On ink there because we're going to be adding water, so we need an ink that's going to stays on. So Stays On is the ink for the day. Now the other thing that we have here is a piece of our Stampin' Up masking paper. Now you always want to make sure that you're stamping on the right side. So you've got one side that's got a peel off backing and is sort of tacky, and the other side is more papery. And you want to stamp on the papery side. So I'm just going to ink that apple up again. Don't need to worry too much about it being a perfectly clear image, although that's a pretty good one, because we're going to cut this out, because we're going to make a mask with it. Now, if you don't have any of our masking paper, then you might want to add some to your shopping list, but you can use Post-it notes and the such like. So I'm not going to worry too much about getting in around that stalk. Just going to cut round the leaf. And I want to cut this one so that it's close to the edge of the stamped image. Now, masking paper is good because it is a little bit thinner than an average Post-it note, which means that you don't get quite the same sort of halo effect that you can sometimes get with a Post-it note. Oh, excuse me, I could feel that sneeze coming. Yeah, so you don't get quite that same halo effect, or as much as a halo effect. Just like a Post-it note, you can use it time and time again. You don't have to just use it the once and throw it away. Pop it in your stamp case and keep using until the point at which it completely falls apart and disintegrates. Right, let's get the backing off of this. The other nice thing about it is you've got large sheets, so that's, you know, you're not only looking at a sort of 7 centimetre square piece of paper. You've got a much bigger edge to play with. Now, the nail that I normally would use to work these I have broken. It is getting there. It's typical, isn't it, that on a live, there we go. Okay, can I take a pick tool and that will work. Right, so I am just going to put my mask on my scarf here, or on my jumper or something, just to take off a little bit of the tackiness, so it's not quite so tacky. And then I'm going to lay my apple mask over the top of my apple stamping. Don't necessarily want to push it down too hard. I've just laid it on the top. So now we have completely covered up the apple that we've just stamped. Now, when you're masking like this, the important thing to remember is that the image that you want at the front is the one that you stamp first and that you mask, because these subsequent images that we are going to stamp now are going to end up looking like they're sitting behind this first one. Now, I do think I might want a second mask, so let's do that. So that looks quite a jumble now. It's like, oh my goodness me, what is going on there? But we will keep the faith. Let's stamp ourselves another apple. So I'll now have 2 apple masks to keep in my stamp case. Because I think we'll have a stack of apples, which means we want some apples in the back here as well. But in order to do one in the back here, I need also to mask this apple. So let's cut ourselves another apple mask. So I hope you've all got lovely plans for the weekend. Say I've got a Saturday Stampers class tomorrow, which are always good fun. I'm delighted to be welcoming some new stampers to join us tomorrow. Always room for new stampers at the table. Right, so there we have our second apple. This one should peel off a little bit easier because I've got it stamped over that split. There we go. And let's take this second apple. Let's again just pop it on my jumper to take off some of the sticky. I'm going to lay that apple over that apple. Oh, let's take off our, you always get this sort of little plastic case with the stays on. That's because it is a alcohol-based, a solvent-based ink, which does evaporate quite quickly. So they do dry out quite quickly if you're not careful. So you always want to make sure that you pop your lids on. Ooh, it's nearly an upside down apple. I think we'll have one about there. And then we're going to need to move our mask. Let's move our mask before we ink our stamp. I'm going to take that stamp from there and I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to ink this up once more. I'm going to make sure that these 2 apples don't overlap. I'll have this one coming at quite a jaunty angle, I think. Let's bring it down. Now we could keep going, of course. If we're going to be in a piece of card, we could keep adding apples. But what we want to do is we want to take these masks off. So mask number 1 and mask number 2. They're going to come beautifully together. So what we then have is this fabulous stack of apples with leaves lying behind and in front appropriately as they should be, because what we've done is we have covered by masking it we've covered where they join. So where they join, the stamp only stamps sort of in the background, if you like. It doesn't stamp the piece that's going to overlap, and it prevents that from happening. Right, so let's find a water painter. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, where's my little thin water painter gone? It seems to have gone missing, but no, I've got it. So we have our thinnest water painter there, and let's do some leaves first. So I've got some old olive here. Let's add a bit of old olive. So I've got some old olive ink in my lid. Add a bit of water to it. And let's come in and add some old olive. It still is my go-to green, I think. Got lots of lovely greens and I do use them all. But I think old olive is still my default setting. I don't know about you, if you've got a favourite green. Come in here. And we'll paint these leaves. And here I'm just laying down some colour to start with. Let's come in and add a bit of shading in a minute. Now I'm going to use red for my apples in a minute, but of course you don't have to. Apples come in all sorts of different colours. We could go red apples, we could go green apples. We've obviously got granny apple green, which would be perfect for a granny apple. Some apples are more of a sort of yellowy tinge. You could come in with some yellow. Let's just add some colour down here. So I think we've added some basic colour to all of our apples. Come in, I've put a bit more ink in there because that will be a slightly stronger colour. Just come in and add in a bit of shading where we've got these veins. A bit of shading on the stamp itself, on the image, that top corner. So this is where you don't have to worry about being an artist yourself, because you have an artist that's drawn the stamps for you. So you can just take the guesswork out. The other thing I could have done is taken a watercolour pencil and come in and added in a bit more shading. And this leaf just here. Right. And to just clean my brush up a little bit. I've got a little pot of water to one side. I've also got a Simply chamois that I'm wiping that off on to make sure that I've got all of the green out of there for now. Right, let's bring in our real red. I've also got a bit of crushed curry here. Just let's come in to start with a bit of crushed curry. I'm just going to add a bit of a yellowy blush to some of these apples. I think very just a bit of a yellow blob, and then let's come in with some real red. Let's give this another squeeze. Might do actually. It's just find throwing ink about all over the place. Finding every colour but one I want. Let's find some real red ink. Just going to add a spot in there to make that go a bit further. I'm going to add some water into there. Right. So obviously by using a re-inker, we have a far stronger colour. To blend that together a little bit, just to get slightly more yellowy hue just over the top there. Bring that out. And come in where this shading is to start with, so that that's the stronger colour. Around this little dip just here. And where the leaves sort of overshadow. Blend that in together. And again on this one, let's come in on that edge where we have these sort of shade lines. Where the two apples meet, around where this leaf is. With a watery brush and blend those two together, and then apples at the back. Add in some dark around where that dimple is, where that around this leaf needs a little bit down there. Mix in where we've got that yellow, blend all that together. We've got this darker colour. And last but not least, our red, and then around here. A little bit going on down here. Around this stalk. Blend that yellow in a bit. I'll have a bit down here. Now let me just give that brush a good wash. Come in again with a bit more yellow over the top. And then on this one. And we also need something for a bit of a stalk up there. So let's just grab some soft suede. And let's just add in a bit of soft suede at the top here. For this. For the stalks. Well, I've got this soft suede in my hand. Just need to water it down a little bit. bit more water to it just to give it a paler colour. I'm just going to add in, let's just ground our apples, give them something that they're sitting on. Like that. So we have a stack of apples now. Put my inker back in its box. Here's some real red card base. I've got some old olive as well for a mat. Just grab my trimmer. Right, so I want this one to be 14.4 by 10. And we'll just check this is half a piece. No, a bit more than half a piece. So let's trim that down to 14.9 and score it at 10.5. So you want half a piece of A4 cardstock scored at half, and half a piece of letter size. So it would be 8.5 by 5.5 inches, scored at 4.25. This piece would be 4 inches by 5.25. There's some maps. As I say, I've got quite a few classes coming up, so I've got oddments all over the place of things, baskets ready to classes. This is the real red ribbon from the Country Lane. Oh, got a black matte dot on it, from the Country Lane suite. Country Floral Lane suite. Or we've got some old olive ribbon just here. Is also part of a combo pack with some Sahara Sand, old olive and Sahara Sand twill ribbon combo. We've also got some old olive ribbon there. So decisions. We'll have a look and see. We need to choose a sentiment. So we could have hope you are feeling better. We could have the greatest gift is a good friend, or thanks for your kindness. I think I'm going to go with hope you are feeling better. Another stamp that hasn't yet got its backing on, so we'll sort that out as well while we're here. So yeah, we could go with the whole as we are. Apple a day keeps the doctor away type apple theme. Get well cards. We have an apple for the teacher if you want a thank you card for a teacher. Oh, we've just got the whole. They're rather nice, jolly looking apples. So yeah, why not use them to create a card now? Might have a bit of a banner coming across at the front there. Let's find ourselves little oddment of shimmery white so that we're keeping the colour of the cardstock the same. And I think we will go, I think I'm going to go in stays on, I'm going to keep it black. Let's take our plastic sheet off. Oop, you are feeling better. It's a little wonky, but that's okay because we're going to trim it anyway. So hopefully we'll manage to trim it so it looks a bit straighter. Excuse me, just noticed that my little pot of water is on a bit of skew if we don't want that going everywhere. I'm probably going to shape these ends, so I'll just snap it off for now. Hope you are feeling better. Let's snip the ends either side. I think I'm going to come back in with my soft suede. We'll just add a bit of soft suede to that. Right, let's start putting this together. There are lots of different sorts of images you can mask up if you've got sort of people or animals. They quite often are good if you want to mask them to have like a little crowd scene, or one standing on top of the other. Food images like this, floral images so that you can make up a nice sort of floral arrangement. I'll come in with some ribbon in a minute. Let's have a look. Have this coming on here. Thinking, where has my green ribbon gone? It can't have gone far because you just had it. I might just add in a little bit of this ribbon underneath here. So let's snip that. Just going to lay down some tear and tape on the back of it. And find my taper pick tool. And hopefully, yeah, take our backing off of there. Let's have a strip of ribbon. And we'll find some mini dimensionals for this one. I just cut a few little strips from the outside edge, because I think that's the actual last little mini dimensional on that sheet. But actually these strips like this work perfectly across the back there. Let's take those backings off. Got a little bit there that's just peeking out. Let's trim him off. And stick that on there. It's a little bit skewy. Let's try and straighten that up a little bit. Let's have a little rummage and see what will work. Just have a few little gold sequins. Oh, let's get rid of that hair just there. Big one and a couple of small ones. So those are from the pastel adhesive backed sequins that come from the mini catalogue, January to April catalogue. So, oh, the only other thing that's going to be required there is an insert for the card, because it's a card base or something inside to write on. So let me just trim down. This is just a piece of basic white to go inside. Let's just get rid of the matte black dot. Rid of the case. Let's just ink up our stays on, and I think we'll just have a simple apple in the corner there. So for all those people who are not feeling very well at the moment, here's a card to hope that you are feeling better. If not right now, then very, very soon. So watercolour card. We've taken one apple, and with a bit of magic of masking, we've created a stack of apples to hope you are feeling better soon. And they were all using this Apple Harvest stamp set. I do love this branch here with all the apples on, this little cluster just here. So lots of lovely apples for whatever the occasion, whether to say thank you, whether to say happy birthday, or whether to say get well soon. So I hope you've enjoyed that little crafty interlude, and I will be back with you on Monday. So have whatever you're doing this weekend, have a fabulous week. Don't forget to check out all those new celebration offers, and I will see you on Monday.